All right, hi kids. I'm not here today. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm at a conference here in school, so you may see me. Unfortunately, I'm not in class. So what I want you to do is take your notes today. Listen to this. Make sure if you're struggling and not following, you're just pausing, going back. You can do that. That's the nice thing about this video is that you can keep going back and making sure that you listen and get down all the notes so that you understand what's going on. I chose today's lesson specifically because you should have done this before. You should have graphed, but if not, it's okay. We're going to spend a lot of time doing this over this next unit, so just make sure you're taking your time, you're taking down good notes, and you're making sure that you understand what's going on. So today what we're going to do is we're going to graph linear equations. All right, so we're going to graph linear equations in this form, slope-intercept form. All right, and that's the big thing. All right, is that we're going to be graphing lines, and that's just going to be something that we're going to be doing for a long time now. So we want to make sure that we're ready to do that as this year progresses. So here we go. So these are your notes right now. So I'm sure you're going to start writing down the red stuff, but try to follow through. If you want, you can pause it, but make sure you're writing this stuff down. So here we go. Slope-intercept form. So up at the top, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. This is how all equations in slope-intercept form are written. Now the reason we call it slope and intercept form is because the slope is your m value and your intercept is your b value. And really what we're talking about is the y-intercept. All right, your y-intercept, and that's where it crosses, where your graph crosses the y-axis. All right, so if you look here, your m is your slope, and your b is your y. Let me put that in red. Y-intercept. All right, now a y-intercept. So just so you know and kind of see this, all right. So if I had a graph, all right, if I had a graph like this line right here, this line right there is called the x-axis. And this line right here that goes up and down is called the y-axis. Any point that is on this line is called a y-intercept. Any point that's on this line is a y-intercept. And we abbreviate it what? Y. Oh man, I'm writing on my computer, so that's why it's all messed up. Y-intercept. So I apologize if this looks horrible. It is. But hopefully you understand. So anything on the y-axis is called a y-intercept, and that's going to be very important that you know where y-intercepts are. So let's go now to slope. So you probably have already written this, but here we go. Slope. What is slope? What does that mean? Well, slope measures the rate of change of one variable with respect to the other. All right, so how high up your line goes in relationship to how wide it goes. How high it goes to how wide it goes. So there's an equation right here. This is more scientific. It says m equals triangle y over triangle x. And this really means change of y over the change in x. So how much it changes in y over the change in x. Or what we like to call in math the rise, how much your line rises. So up or down over run, which is right and left. So slope is rise over run. You're going to hear me say that over and over again. Rise over run. So if we look at this first example right here, all right, what we're going to need to do is identify what our m, what our b, and then really what our y-intercept are, which really are these two. But I'm going to show you what they mean. So in order to identify your y, what your m and your b are, what I always do is I write y equals mx plus b right underneath my equation, right underneath. Because now I can just circle, hey, this is my m, so my m is -4, and my b is 10. So my b is 10. Now, here's the thing. Your b is your y-intercept, and a y-intercept is a point. So it's always 0, comma, whatever your b value is. All right, so it's 0, comma, whatever your b value is. So really what it is 0, comma, 10 in this problem. So that's how you're going to write your y-intercept. It's 0, comma, whatever your b value is. Now, okay, when we graph, all right, when we graph, we always, and here we go, we're going to begin at b. So I have right here graphing using slope, intercept, and slope and y-intercept. So it gives you your steps. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. So first it says plot the y-intercept on the y-axis. So really what I like to think about is this. Begin at B. That's what my saying is. That's how you start graphing. You begin at B. So you begin at your y-intercept. That's your first point. You're going to plot a point on the y-axis. Then, the next thing, once you have your 1 point, you then look at your slope. And you want to change your slope into a fraction, if necessary, to graph rise over run. So for instance, if our slope, like in the last problem, was -4, all right, we can make our slope -4 over 1. So this is our slope. Now notice it's -4 over 1. So instead of us rising, going upward, we're not going up, we're actually going to go down 4 and over 1. So that's what we're going to go and do here. So that's your slope. All right, you're going to go down and over. Now, I have some things here to help you out. It says if the slope is positive, you go up to the right or reverse down to the left. So what I do is I don't even think about 3 and 4. As long as you're doing rise or fall over run, you're going to be totally fine. So this is just going to literally just be practice, practice, practice. That's what we're doing today. So again, if I'm going too fast and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even write that down. Pause, go back, write it down. Okay? So here we go. Number 1. Now notice I had to put in y equals on here. Yours has y equals on your notes, but anyway, mine doesn't. So I need to graph this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write y equals mx plus b. Now, all right, to start your problem off, your m is 1 over 4, and your b is -1. So it's 0, comma, -1. Where did my slope go? Where did that 1/4 go? Whatever, that's 1/4. So the problem, all right, now starts after we have identified. We need to start graphing. So what we do is we begin at B, which is your y-intercept. This is your B. So we're going to begin at -1 on the y-axis. So this is your y-axis here. This is your y-axis. So we're going to start, our first point is going to be on that y-axis. Our first point will be on this. I guess it won't let me erase. So our first point is going to be at 0, -1, which means starting at the origin, we're going to go down 1, and there's our first point. All right? So it's always on this line that's right here. Now, after we plot that point, now we graph our slope. Our slope gets you the rest of your lines for your point. So slope is rise or fall over run. So because our slope is positive 1/4, it's going to be up 1 and to the right 4. So from our B, we're going to go up 1 unit over 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point. Up 1 unit, 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1 unit, 1. Now there's no points, but really it would be over there. Now, this is half your line. You have to get the other side of your line here. So what you have to do is you're going to have to go down 1 unit and left 1, 2, 3, 4. You got to do like a reverse slope. Down 1 unit, left 1, 2, 3, 4. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is our first line of the year that we've graphed. Now, after you put your points through your line, it's not complete until you put arrows at the end, because a line is infinitely long. It goes on and on and on forever and ever and ever and ever. So that's what those arrows indicate. Okay, so we begin at our B, and then our slope gets you the rest of your points. And you need to give me all the points to the right and then all the points to the left. All right, let's try our next one. So again, we start by writing y equals mx plus b. Now notice, I'm trying to write literally mx plus b, literally underneath each consecutive number. I don't want to write it really tiny or really big. I want to try to match it up. So it's really easy for me to say, all right, here's my m, here's my b. All right, so my m is -2. Now here's the thing. If it's not a fraction, make it a fraction by putting it over 1. That's going to help us out. And our b is 7, so it's 0. It should be a 0, 7. So our y-intercept is our b. So we're going to begin with that first point, 0, 7. So that means starting at the origin, which is the intersection of your two x and y axes, you're going to go up 7, and this is your first point. So you get your first point right there, up 7 units. Now, to get the rest of our line, we're going to take our slope. Now notice it's negative, so it's not rise, it's fall and to the right. Notice you're always going to the right, the bottom's always going to the right, but the top is either going up or down, and that changes the direction of your line. So from our 7, we're going to go down 2 and to the right 1. So we go down 1, 2 to the right 1. Down 1, 2 to the right 1. Down 1, 2 to the right 1. Now students ask, Mr. Quammen, I can see the line, we're good. No. In this class, you need to plot every single point that you possibly can on your graph. So keep going until there's no more points on the graph that you can plot for this line. So you keep going down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. And once you've gone all the way to the right, now you got to reverse it and go up and to the left. You got to reverse slope it to get your point here. No. Sorry, that kind of caught on my pen. There you go. Put arrows at the end. All right. So many of you hopefully have done this, and maybe it's dust and some cobwebs, and you're like, oh man, I totally remember how to do this now. That's great. We're going to do 2 more together, and then you're going to do a bunch of practice problems. Okay, a bunch of practice problems. All right. So I believe you have to flip your page. Come on. There we go. Now take a look at number 3. So I write out y equals mx plus, oh man, b. Now, if you look at this, all right, I can see my m. I see my m here. It's 3, which we're going to make 3 over 1. You always make it into a fraction. But notice, there's no b here. I don't see a b. Well, if your problem doesn't have a b, if you don't see one, you are going to say it's plus 0. Sorry, plus 0. Because 0 is a number that's invisible. You can write plus 0 on anything, and it's not going to change a number. So if you don't see a b, your b is 0. So my y-intercept is 0, 0. So again, we begin graphing at b. So we're beginning at 0, 0, which is right here at the origin. And then our slope is 3 over 1. So because it's positive, it's up 3 to the right 1. So from our b, our 0, 0, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, right 1. 1, 2, 3, right 1. 1, 2, 3, right 1. Now there's no more points to the right, so I got to go reverse slope. Instead of up 3, right 1, I'm going to go down 3 and left 1. Down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1. And then you plot your line. Look at that, money. All right. Now, I would recommend, if you haven't been doing so already, you're using pencil, because you're going to mess up, and that's fine. All right. Understand this. Like, a lot of people are really good graphing this part of the line, but when you have to reverse slope, some kids go down 3 and then over here, down 3 over here. Well, is this a line? Is this a line here? No, it's crooked. That's messed up. All right, so you should say, oh, I messed that thing up. It actually needs to go over here. I need to put all these points over in this direction. So I got to get rid of that, and I need to make my line like that. All right, so use your pencil just in case you make a mistake. That's totally fine. All right, here we go. Let's try number 4, another good one. Here we go. So y equals, now look, I'm going to try to shimmy that m, x plus b. Now, like the last problem, all right, we're missing a number. I can't see anything. I can see my b. My b is 1, so 0, 1. My y-intercept is 0, 1. That's my b. All right. But my m, I don't see it there. I don't see it. Now, unlike your b, when you don't see your b is 0. If you don't see an m, all right, your m is 1. It's 1 because there's an x in front of it. There's at least one x there. So your slope is going to be 1 over 1. 1 over 1. So that means you're going to rise 1 and go right 1. So that's something that we got to know there, because there's always going to be a slope. If you have an x, there's always a slope. You always have a b. That's just going to be 0 if you don't see it. So now we're going to begin at b, which is 0, 1. So we're going to go up 1 from the origin, go up 1. And then we're going to do our slope of up 1, right 1. So up 1, right 1, 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 up 1, right 1. Oh my goodness, look at how many points there are. I want every single point. Now, I need reverse slope to get the points over here to the left. So I got to go down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1. You just keep going, all right, until there's no more points to be had, and then you create your line. At the end of your line, extend it, make your little arrow. All right? Let's do one more together, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the class period to finish your examples and then start your homework, okay? Now, number 5. All right, number 5. Last one we're going to do together. All right, I write y equals mx, come on, buddy, plus b. Oop, I already wrote 4. Well, whatever. All right, here we go. So your m is negative 4 over 3. Now, let's start with that. I'm going to write that down. Negative 4 over 3. Now notice, I put the negative. See how the negative's out in front of your entire fraction? I put the negative up in the numerator. You choose where you want to put it. I am going to ask you to always put it in the top, because that means your bottom number, we're still going to the right. So here, so negative 4 over 3 means we're going to go down 4 and still to the right 3. It keeps our same graphing the same as what we're used to doing. So move the negative always to the top. So down 4 over 3. And then your b is negative 4. So it's 0, comma, negative 4. That's your b. So we begin at b. So we go down from the origin, down 4, and plot a big point. And then we graph our slope of negative 4 over 3. So we go down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3. Now notice, I'm only going to get 1 point over here, because if I keep going, I'm going to have like a point off the graph, which is fine. So we have to reverse slope this. All right, so instead of going down 4, right 3, I'm going to go up 4, left 3. And I keep doing that, up 4, left 3, until I have no more points. 1, 2, 3, 4, left 3. Come on, buddy, there we go. And notice that creates your line. We extend all the way through all of our points. We put our arrows, and look at that, a beautiful line. All right, so it's important that you continue, you work through these problems. All right, here's the thing. All right, in about 10 seconds when I'm finished talking, all right, you're going to work and finish the rest of the practice problems that are on your notes. You want to check your answers that are posted on Google Classroom. So you need to be looking at those answers to make sure you're doing them correctly. You don't want to graph and get into bad habits graphing for a long time without checking your answers. So check those notes. When you're done and you're all good, go up to the sub and ask them for the homework. All right, they will give you the homework, and then you go back and start working on those. The homework answers will also be on Google Classroom. So make sure you check those answers as well. All right, graphing is a very, very important thing that we're going to be doing this year, and we're going to be doing it for a long time. So you want to make sure that you're getting into good habits right away. All right, I apologize for not being here. I will be back on Thursday, and we can go over any and all questions that you have. Okay, great job. Keep working, and I'll see you guys on Thursday.